So red blood cells, they make up, as we said previously, 99.9% of the blood's formed elements. Now, hemoglobin is the major component of red blood cells. That gives it its red pigment because it's made up of an iron compound. It binds and transports oxygen and carbon dioxide. The red blood cell count is a number of red blood cells in 1 microliter of blood. For males, they are between 4.5 and 6.3 million in 1 microliter. For females, it's 4.2 to 5.5 million per microliter. So there are absolutely millions and millions, billions and trillions of red blood cells circulating in any one person at any one time. So the structure of the red blood cells, they're tiny and highly specialized discs. They're thin in the middle and thicker at the edge. This allows them to be able to bend to get through very small capillaries. So here in the top right hand corner you can see an actual photograph of red blood cells, and then you've got the drawing of the size of them. Here we've got a section through capillaries. You can see that the capillaries are very small, and that the capillaries, that the red blood cells have to actually line up in order to get through. The lifespan of a red blood cell, because they lack nuclei and they lack mitochondria and ribosomes, there's no means of repairing and no anaerobic metabolism. So each red blood cell lives for about 120 days or about 3 months. This is really significant when you're looking after people who are having cancer therapy. Because they're having part of their therapy may well be cytotoxic therapy, where they're having what is called chemotherapy. These chemicals are very powerful, not only at killing off the cancer cells, which are rapidly dividing cells, but they'll also kill off other cells. So often people, when after about 3 months of their chemotherapy, we are monitoring their hemoglobin, and then they may well need a blood transfusion. Hemoglobin, the protein property which transports respiratory gases. Normal hemoglobin, you need to know the normal rates for males and females, between 14 and 18 grams per deciliter, or 140 and 180 grams per litre for a male, and normal hemoglobin for a female is between 12 and 16 grams, or 120 and 160 milligrams per deciliter. So females have developed the ability to function with a lower hemoglobin because of menstruation. So the hemoglobin structure, it has 4 globulin protein units, each one with a molecule of heme on it, and each hemoglobin contains 1 iron. Get that? Iron, spelled differently. Hemoglobin function, as we know, carries oxygen. With low oxygen, you get low oxygen to the peripheral capillaries. Hemoglobin releases oxygen when oxygen is low, and it binds with carbon dioxide and carries it to the lungs. When it binds with carbon dioxide, it's called carbon hemoglobin. So here's the drawing. So on the far left hand side you've got the cross section of 1 red blood cell. The little tiny square is showing you, if we look through a microscope, an electron microscope, we would have a look at the molecule of hemoglobin. You can see that there are 4 plates on that, and they're where the oxygen is able to latch on to the hemoglobin, and you can see that the heme bit is made up of iron in the center. So it's really essential for people to have a daily intake of iron in their diet. People who are low in iron can be low in hemoglobin, which means their oxygen carrying capacity can be depleted. Looking at red blood cell formation and turnover, 1% of the circulating red blood cells wear out each day. So every 24 hours, 1% of your red blood cells wear out, and about 3 million red blood cells per second. So hemoglobin conservation and recycling, this occurs by the macrophages of the liver, the spleen and the bone marrow. They monitor red blood cells. They engulf red blood cells before the membrane ruptures. After they are engulfed, the white blood cells engulf it. It breaks down the components, the globular proteins and amino acids are reused, and the heme is turned into biliverdin, which is sort of the green color, and is excreted in the feces. The biliverdin is then changed to bilirubin. So biliverdin is converted to bilirubin, a yellow color. This is again excreted by the liver. So bilirubin, the green color, is excreted by the liver in the form of bile. And if a person is jaundiced, they have a build-up of bilirubin, which makes, if they were pale skin, makes their skin go yellow. If they're dark skin, you will still be able to pick up if the person is jaundiced, because the sclera of their eyes will turn yellow. This bilirubin is converted by intestinal bacteria to urobilins and steratocarbons before it's excreted in feces. Red blood cell production, that's called erythropoiesis, only occurs in the myeloid tissues of the red bone marrow in adults, and stem cells become mature red blood cells.